What we've been saying consistently is that there needs to be humanitarian assistance in a humanitarian framework for the Palestinians in Yarmouk. After all, they have endured a great deal of hardship in any case because they have been living in those conditions already, but then they have suffered the additional difficulty of finding themselves under fire. And needless to say, many of them wanted to move. It's very difficult for them to move in those circumstances. So simply on humanitarian grounds and purely humanitarian grounds, the Secretary General urged all those in the neighborhood, in the neighboring countries, to consider that kind of humanitarian assistance. In other words, to provide access so that they can seek refuge because they're facing real difficulties where they had been living up to then.
Mr. Abbas says that 150,000 were assured that they can return to the West Bank to where they are supposed, of course, to return by Mr. Seri, or as the SG himself conveyed that to Mr. Seri. Did Mr. Ban Ki-moon contact with Mr. Netanyahu regarding that?
There's been no direct contact between the Secretary General and the Prime Minister of Israel on this particular matter. What you need to look at is the overall humanitarian picture. And the Secretary General and his representatives have been appealing for humanitarian assistance. It's not for the United Nations to provide assurances, guarantees. It's for the United Nations to appeal for assistance on humanitarian grounds for many people who are suffering greatly at the moment. In addition, of course, to the Syrian people themselves who are suffering greatly. We're just specifically in this instance talking about Palestine refugees.
Was there any conditionality for the return? When Mr. Netanyahu conveyed that, yes, he accepts the return of certain number, did he say that they should abandon the right to return, for example? Was there any kind of that?
Look, I think that's something you would need to ask the Israelis. That's not for me to comment on. I'm simply saying we have not, just to repeat, made specific guarantees. It's not for us to do so. What we have called for is humanitarian assistance on humanitarian grounds, nothing more and nothing less, to help those people who are really suffering a double indignity, if you like. And that's the basis of this.
You got some okay about that, did you?
Look, all I can say is that there are many people on the move, and we've been seeking to help as many people as we possibly can. I don't have any details standing here right now about how many and where they have gone.